I was thinking recently about the idea of probability and individuals and how it works out. So I was looking at for a phone and the Google Pixel is highly rated. But if you look at the reviews on Reddit, many people comment about this problem, that problem, the fingerprint doesn't work well. And then sometimes, the connection doesn't work. You have to put it on airplane mode, off airplane mode. There's a lot of software bugs, apparently, which is interesting, depending how you look at it, because some people think Google is really good in software. If you look at how they're continuous in beta, maybe you think they're not so good. But then I guess the other thing is, I was thinking also the idea of probability, knowledge, absolute statements, right? So we say things like the pixel has issues, but do we mean every single pixel? Not really, right? We mean some pixels have issues. We don't mean 100%. But if you're buying something used, then that's an issue because you don't know whether your pixel has an issue or not. I mean, you can't really trust sellers many times. And then I was thinking also about this idea of babies and SIDS. We put our baby actually prone, which is face down. They all recommend putting her, face up because they say that reduces your risk of SIDS. But first of all, what causes SIDS? We don't know. Maybe my baby cannot get SIDS, right? I mean, that's the thing. When we say statements, right, like blah, 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 HIV, AIDS, right? In the past, we thought everybody can get AIDS, HIV. But now we know there's people who are definitely immune, who just cannot get it. They have a mutation, so they just literally cannot get it. It's CXCR5 or CCR4, I think. But the thing is, who knew that? Nobody. But I could have predicted that there's people who are immune. It's just like everything else in life, right? There's some people who can't get COVID. Isn't that weird? There is a story about a husband and wife, they live together, one person got COVID, the other person is fine. They just can't get it. And that's what probability is. You use probability when you don't actually know reasons why, right? You make a guess. Educated guess, calculated guess, statistical guess, shall we say, but it's still a guess. And so I think it's the same thing when you think about life, right? If you think about your child, we say you should do this, you should do that. But actually we don't know for your particular child. We know for general people, but for this individual, you may actually be wrong. I mean, there's all these stories about how this or that didn't work out, right? There's this man who started eating healthier, started eating a lot of green leafy vegetables, blah, 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 and he felt horrible. And his girlfriend said, you just got to keep on going. And he finally saw a doctor. And I guess he saw an intelligent doctor because the doctor said, yeah, you have a medium fatty chain acid deficiency. So yeah, I guess it doesn't work for you. And we were all taught fruits and vegetables are good for you. But for his case, it's not good for him. Isn't that weird? Well, I mean, when you say weird, what do you mean? Do you mean uncommon? Because this stuff happens all the time. Exceptions. Exceptions are the rule, is what they say, right? And I guess that goes back to the question is how do you deal with probability? Right? Because it's when we don't know. When you know, it's not probability anymore. This causes this, right? You could say it's probability, but basically, if you go to the store, right, you give them money, you could buy something. It sort of works that way. But if you don't know the store's open, then you say, I might go to the store, or I could go to the store, and I might be able to get this. But if it's a normal day, and you're trying to go to Target or Walmart, pretty much guaranteed, right? There's always exceptions, right? Pandemic, maybe they're not missing this or that. But the idea is that we use probability when we don't know. When you don't know what causes this or that, what the precise mechanism of action is. And that's the thing. How do we deal with the world? Well, probability means we don't know. Why are we so certain about probability, right? Like SIDS, they say you could decrease the probability. What is the probability for my daughter in the first place? What do I decrease it to? Maybe for some kids you actually increase it by putting them face up. I don't know. Nobody does. Because we don't know what causes SIDS in the first place. It's not even defined well. It's a syndrome. Syndrome just means we don't know why it happens. But these things didn't happen together. And I think that's the hard thing about looking at our world. Knowledge. Not knowing. How do we act?